Hello, everyone. I am Rob Curley, the editor of the Spokesman-Review, and we're about to have our second Northwest Passages virtual community forum of the day. And today, I'm really excited about this one. I am a massive baseball fan, and I have been wanting to talk baseball for a while now, and I haven't been able to. So today we're going to have on Washington State baseball coach Brian Green, who talk about a guy who was having a great season right and have it snatched away. And he'll be in conversation with Theo Lawson, the Spokesman-Review's Cougs writer. So I'm going to turn it over to you all, but please talk about baseball a lot, okay? I miss it.
No problem.
Good. Thanks, Rob, and thanks a lot, Brian, for joining us. This is the fourth Washington State installment of our Northwest Passages virtual forum. If you missed any of our last chats with Pat Shine, the athletic director, with football coach Nick Rolovich, or men's basketball coach Kyle Smith, you can go back on our YouTube channel and watch those, as well as this interview when Brian and I are done talking. So thanks for joining us, Coach.
Absolutely. I'm pumped to be here. So thanks for having us.
I'm really kind of enticed by your baseball collection there in the background. Can you kind of explain how you kind of accumulated everything, and then maybe what's your favorite piece of memorabilia back there?
There's right now my favorite piece is the license plate for the Coug license plate, which is back there. I don't know if that's visible, but I think that might have to be on the front of my car. But right now I'm not driving, so I'm going to keep it here in the office. But there was a joke about 10 years ago. I had moved so much early on in my career. There's an assistant coach now at Baylor. He had given me a frequent movers card that he had made up as a sarcastic gesture of how many times I had moved. So I've got Riverside Community College, New Mexico State, Kentucky, UCLA, Hawaii, San Diego, just a ton of memorabilia that I've gathered over the years. And then being now in this home here in Pullman is the coolest office. As soon as we walked into this house, I saw the office. I didn't need to look at the home anymore. I just said, honey, can we just get this house and forget everything else? So my whole career is back here, and it's really fun. It's a fun talking point when people come over.
Well, I think the Go Cougs license plate was obviously the right answer there. So
yeah, absolutely.
You've already aced this interview. So just getting started on, under normal circumstances, I think you guys would kind of be gearing up for a 3-game home series against UC Riverside. Can you kind of explain what you'd be doing at 2 p.m. on a Thursday right now?
Wow, 2 p.m. on a Thursday would be our pre-series practice. We'd probably have a little bit early out. We would actually be 2 o'clock right now. We would be in the dugout going over Riverside one more time. We'd go over the scouting report of their pitching scheme as a staff. The starter for tomorrow, reminders on video. Each coach would talk at the front. We would have about an hour 45 practice, which would be very regimented, detailed, and the same for us. We believe in routine. Our Thursday pre-series practice is we would run through some cuts and relays, some PFPs, a short touch on bunt defense, and a rhythm batting practice. There'd be some music going. It'd be high energy, and we'd be off the field by 4:15, 4:30, and then they'd be coming in to practice, and we get the field ready for them. So Thursday pre-series practice are always fun, and they're always short, and it's a lot of just recap preparation. We like to spend the whole week with our preparation starting on Monday of getting geared up towards, if we've got heavy left-handed for the upcoming weekend, we're going to make sure as a staff that our hitters are going to see a lot of left-handed machine and a left-handed breaking ball and things like that. Or if it's a heavy short game team, there's more reps there. So try to do as good of a job as preparation as possible. Theo, you just got my juices flowing. That's the fun stuff, is the preparation stuff. So that's probably the biggest piece that us as coaches miss, aside from just being in the dugout and talking to the kids.
Do you think you guys watch as much film as football coaches and basketball coaches watch to prepare for an opponent for an opponent usually?
We watch a lot. The Synergy app, which everybody has jumped onto, started with Huddle and moved into Synergy for us. Our coaches watch as much film as anyone. Baseball can be a lot more tedious with the film. Every pitch. So you're watching it for positioning and you're charting position. Then you're going back and you're watching it for pitching, and you're watching stuff, and you're also watching schemes. So we don't use as much of the data. We like to watch the film as much for us just to watch it and match up the data and make sure it's accurate.
Mm-hmm. I know coaches in almost every sport are real creatures of habit. And obviously your kind of normal daily routine has kind of been knocked out by this coronavirus. Can you kind of explain how that's been for you, kind of adapting to the new normal, and what a normal day looks like for you right now?
Yeah, it's a new routine. My wife and I are celebrating the fact that I'm not working and we're still together and happy. And so there's a great picture ahead that there's no divorce coming when I get retired. We'll be together and be happy. But no, it's the routine is a much healthier thing that I've done. I get up early. My wife and I go for a walk. We usually put 5 or 6 miles in walking. We usually have we try to get a 2 a day in. If not, the first thing we do is go for a walk. Depending on our morning triggers, we usually have a 10 or an 11 just about every day, whether it be with our current team, our current recruits, whether it be I have a meeting with the hitters, or what Pat Shun and our administration doing a great job of. They're really keeping us plugged in every day around 10 or 11 o'clock. There's about 2 or 3 Zooms or 2 or 3 group calls or meetings per day, and then that gets it to about 4 or 5 o'clock, and then obviously there's recruit calls in the evening. But 2 things that I'm really pumped about that I haven't really ever done in my career is go for a walk during the day with my wife, particularly during the season. And then we have dinner as a family every night, which is that's never happened in my life except for vacation. So we've really enjoyed those experiences, and I'm blessed to have those, and we're taking advantage of it.
What's the best home cooked meal you've had in the last month or so?
Well, my wife is killing me because I'm trying to get in better shape. That's what we're telling our players to do. Let's take advantage of improving our bodies right now. We have had the taco salad, and she's made a shrimp pesto pasta. Those would probably be the 2 highlights. And I have to say on Easter, it would be Easter. We had a roast, and my wife also made crab deviled eggs, which I still haven't recovered from. I ate too many of them.
Well, I think I'll need to come down and visit next time you have one of those big meals. So let me know. And then also for your players, can you kind of talk about how the players have adapted? Obviously, players are kind of used to their normal daily routine, going to classes, workouts, practice, games. How have they kind of adapted to not only the online distance learning, but also kind of working out on their own? And I'm sure you guys are kind of giving them different workouts and different things to do at home with kind of limited resources right now.
Yeah, Theo, that's a great question. That's the thing that we've tried to really harp on the most. And there are rules now with COVID-19 and the NC2A. There are rules in terms of how much of their time we can take. There's only 2 to 4 hours of computer meeting time that we can do with the kids. So we try to spread it out. We try to touch them every day or every other day just for a 15, 20-minute period if we can. What we have highlighted is, and what Washington State's done a great job is for the kids, is they're trying to maintain their routines in class. So if they've got a 9 o'clock class, they get up and do their work at 9 o'clock as if they have their routine. We've obviously sent them plenty of drill work to do in the house, whether they're throwing into a bed or whether they're hitting a tee into a mattress, or if they've got a cage at home, they're doing that. But their routine has been class, it's been workout, and it's been baseball. And we've really added in, we've kind of treated this now like a fall. We're moving back into heavy training with the mental game. And even yesterday I had a PowerPoint with the hitters, and we were going over big league video. We just cut up a bunch of new big league frames, and we're watching it with our hitters. We'll do the same thing with our sign kids. So for us, our workload has actually doubled. We're just treating our kids coming in next year and the kids on our current team. We're doing the same thing with both of them. So we're trying to get ahead of preparation for next year for the fall to compress that a little bit. We can get on the field potentially earlier. We certainly aren't going to lose the culture training stuff, but it's heavy routine. We're trying to pound that as much as we can. And our mental game meetings with our players are always about routine, and we're hitting it every day.
Andre Dillard, the former Washington State left tackle who's now playing for the Eagles, did a really cool thing this morning that I guess that we all learned about this morning, and donated a bunch of care packages to every Cougar athlete. I believe every single student athlete at Washington State got one of these care packages with kind of nutrition items and so some resistant bands. Can you kind of talk about that and how important it is to have people like that kind of stepping up at a time like this?
It's just awesome. We had a chance, and again, our administration is just stellar. I've been at a lot of schools, and all the way from President Schultz and Noel down to Pat and his team. We're with winners all the time. I mean, I had an hour of Gardner Minshew this morning, so I mean, I'm jacked up. This guy's as big of a winner as you hear. And then that came out, and we've known that. We've just been waiting for it to be released. But what Andre did for the team, for all of the teams, to give that much when you're fresh out of college, a care package for all the athletes. it just speaks to the community and the culture of not only athletics, but just of Washington State in general. It's a giving culture. I think you even see it with COVID-19, how we're operating. People really respect each other and stand home. But it is awesome. Our kids are getting workout bands. They're getting nutrition things, and every athlete got it. And, you know, when an NFL guy is sending, you know, a rower or a baseball player, something like that, it makes you feel really good. So our kids are pumped. Everybody's saying thank you, and it's a big league gesture by a big league Coug. So it's another one of those things that just makes you proud to be a part of this university.
Can you speak more about the conversation with Gardner Minshew? I believe he met with you and a few other coaches and different people in the athletic administration kind of through Zoom this morning.
It was unbelievable. I've got 2 pages of notes, and I kept writing down winner. But, you know, he talked about his journey and he talked about his process, and I don't know how comfortable or I should be sharing, but all I can say is just, you know, the guys it's very glaring as to why this Coug has been so successful, not only here after, you know, really bouncing around early on in a career, and then moving that into what he did here at Washington State. I mean, just taking over a community and for only being here for 6 months and then still loving it. But just talking about toughness, process, and the biggest takeaway for me is just it's an energy positive approach. It's an optimistic approach. It's a perspective on life that I'm just going to, and nothing's going to get in my way. And I'm going to be as detailed and focused as possible. And then giving out some advice to our athletes for the coaches to pass along. And it was great to hear. You know, he talks about details, he talked about routine, and he talked about diet, nutrition, and sleep. Just the basics, but dominate the basics, and you'll look up. And you kept hearing about leadership, and you kept hearing about team. And it is a special meeting. And we've had John Gordon. We've heard from Urban Meyer. I mean, we're blessed. I'm blessed to be a part of this department. We keep hearing from winners, and we keep being joined in and listening to their message. And a lot of it's very similar.
Mm-hmm. We have a few fan questions that we're going to ask, and I was going to cover this topic anyway, but Bill Zobrist wants to know what's the status of the Back to Omaha project. That's obviously your baseball facility project that's being constructed right now, and is it still on track to kind of be finished during this pandemic? Are you guys still making pretty good progress on that right now?
Awesome, and yeah, Bill will be hearing from me in a day or two. I think I left a message, but great, Bill. Thanks for pumping in. Boy, the framing was up. And the next thing you know, the walls are up. So, I mean, it is massive. It's big. Before COVID-19, we were looking at October. And I believe that we're still close to that. You know, we're obviously shooting for October 31st was hopefully for us to come out of the gates and cut the ribbon during a football Saturday. Obviously, a lot still up in the air. But we're still on point and on schedule for that October, November. And they're just doing a great job. The weather's been great. And it's moving right along. I actually owe you, Bill, and everybody a picture. I just didn't get out today. I try to send one out every 3 days. And then we're actually in communication of trying to ramp up a little bit with our efforts as a department, and certainly from my end, just to get it out daily. And we will do that. There's no excuse for me. I got nothing to do. I just got to walk a little bit further with my wife.
Mm-hmm. And another facility question from Jim on Twitter here. He wants to know, will finishing the new clubhouse help with recruiting? You know, I sure hope so. And then obviously affecting player morale, maybe the morale of the players on the current team that will be able to kind of experience that in a few years.
Well, it goes into everybody, previous coaches, alums, boosters. I mean, this has been such a team effort. I'm walking into a gold mine. I know that. I appreciate that. Recognize it. But no, it's I think the question was from Jim, but it's blown up recruiting. I mean, we've got 4 kids in the top 10 in the state of Washington that are coming to be Cougs next year. We've got the number 5 ranked junior college class in the country coming here next year, and that BTO project was massive. So recruiting-wise, it just put us on a statement of value with the rest of the Northwest. And then the other piece that the value will come later will just be the culture piece. You know, we don't get an opportunity to see our kids on a daily basis right now. They're over there. We're in Bowler, and they're walking across the field. And if it's snowing, they're walking to the field. And you know, some things that people I didn't think about are, number one, we get to see our kids every day when they walk into the clubhouse. Hey, come on into the office and let's hang out for 10 minutes. Let's talk about life. Let's talk about your academics. We don't have that opportunity right now in Bowler. And then the second thing, or third thing, is number 2 is the kids get to hang out together in a big space with nutrition. We get the classroom setting, which we do in the dugout. Now we can spend more time, show video, and really really take that on at a much bigger pace. And then the kids just get to be around each other, and that value statement that says we are on level ground with Oregon State and Oregon and Washington in the Northwest. It's really exciting time. So we're certainly aware of what's around the corner for us.
You obviously come from New Mexico State, where we're up. Obviously a lot of schools in that kind of stratosphere don't really have the same resources to kind of build those facilities. Can you kind of explain your reaction when you first saw the blueprint for this new facility, and were you kind of blown away by everything that they want to do to it?
Yeah, this is my third stop in the pack. I was at Oregon State and I was at UCLA, and I had heard that a new facility was coming in, but I was when the job potentially was an opportunity for me and my family. I didn't know that it was a rock solid thing, Theo, that it was coming in. I just knew it was Washington State and it was the Pac, and I'd been to Pullman, and I thought, well, you can win there. That's a tremendous place. But walking in and seeing the plans, and then being a part of the plans and how detailed the process has been and how much thought has been put into it. Hey, it's a big league facility, but it's big league generated towards taking care of the kids. I mean, when you talk about there's weight room, and there's even the details put into the weight room of, let's make sure we have a training area just so if the kids want to come in and just throw some balls up against the wall or do some tee work in the weight room without going across to the hitting facility, that's in place. The details of the classroom where there's 50 chairs in there so coaches can get in there, administrators can get in there. We can even have alumni functions in there. I mean, these are massive things. Even how we did the hangers in the locker room just so when a recruit walks in, everything is lined up this way, so the place looks 100% recruit ready on a daily basis, and it's detailed. It's been unbelievable, and I mean, we were meeting on it once a week, and we're still meeting on every 3 weeks now on the process of it. It's a big league facility, and coming from New Mexico State where we didn't have any of that stuff, for me, I've just got the mentality of coming from New Mexico State that we didn't have it, and we were very successful there. These are just things down that we'll appreciate, and I'll make sure that our players understand that we're not entitled to this. We appreciate this, and it all goes back to the previous coaches, administration, and current administration of getting it done. So our guys will certainly be appreciative. I know our coaching staff will make sure that happens because we're pumped out of our minds.
Right. Before you guys played Gonzaga in the last game of the season, I believe you would win something like 7 of your last 8 games. I think you were averaging about 9 to 10 runs a game, and the offense was really coming around. Can you kind of talk about your guys' kind of surge toward the end there, and then kind of what changed offensively for you guys the last 10 games or so?
Well, it was awesome. I mean, we had pitched well from day one, and I think we'd even talked about that back in the fall. But Coach Claggett does a great job. We got abused in the fall by our pitchers. It was nothing but fastballs away. They didn't even have to switch sides of the plate. They were killing us at the plate. We were striking out too much. But we kept pounding and pounding and pounding, and we kept moving along. And I think a couple things happened. Number one, on opening day, we have our first opening day win in 10 years or 9 years or something like that. But we do it in the 9th and 10th innings where we come from behind, and we do it on the road. So we get a little confidence there. We keep pounding our strategies, our efforts of 2-strike hitting and putting the ball in play. We're adjusting week to week. But the buy-in just started getting better with our hitters. Their confidence started getting better. We were still playing a bunch of hitters. And it just started coming. There was a commitment to put the ball in play. The strikeouts started going down. We started seeing the HBPs and the walk go up. I think we were in the middle, if not the top of ratio. I know we were the second, if not the best team in terms of not striking out at the plate. So it was just getting better. We were starting to understand our true identity, which we didn't have a lot of power, just in terms of last year's team. We didn't have a lot of speed. We had to put the ball in play. And I think the guys started to see that what we were really preaching and teaching and working on was just starting to work. And Zardo's blowing up. Montez is hitting some tanks. Here comes Vandenbrake. Brady Hill's getting better. And they're all doing it within the system of what we're trying to do with our 3 keys of our approach. And, it was getting really, really exciting. We were ratioing every day, 1-to-1 strikeout to walk offensively. And then we kept pitching. And I think that's the big thing, Theo, was we were able to grab confidence offensively, because our pitchers on a daily basis were demonstrating, hey, man, we're going to pitch and we're going to keep you in the game. So if you guys just do your job and play 9 full innings, we're going to be in there at the end. And we just pitched it so well. I think our offense caught up with confidence. And next thing you know, we've got 7 out of 8 wins in that little stretch there. And it was really exciting. Dugout was great. And then it got stopped, but we were pumped about where we were going. It was changing fast.
And you had Kyle Manzardo, obviously you're a sophomore from Coeur d'Alene and Lake City High School. A lot of Spokesman readers probably know a little bit more about Kyle, and he was hitting .435 when the season stopped. And I think had at least one hit in every single game. I think had homers in 3 of your last 4 games. Can you kind of talk about him, and have you had a player ever start the season that hot before?
Well, yes, but not many. I mean, that was stupid what he was doing, because he wasn't doing it in Las Cruces, New Mexico, and there weren't any. I mean, it was, Gonzalez I think started off like 600 last year, and he's going to be a top 5 pick this year. So, but Manzo's start, that type of consistency, you don't see that very often. That was AJ Reed and Gonzalez type territory, and I don't want to put too much on the kid, but the cool thing about Manzo is. The story about Manzo is, number one, he works and he's blue collar. He's the guy who walks into the cage in the flannel and the beanie. He's the first guy to hit and he's the last guy to leave, and he does it every day, and he doesn't do it for show. He does it because he wants to get better. He's got some strange power to the opposite field, and he really is bought into himself just in terms of his approach and understanding it. He thinks the game. He's not much of a talker in terms of just being vocal. But he's dialed in. And yesterday, for example, we're going over video, and he's one of the guys, him and Smith, are giving the most when we're asking questions about, hey, what do you see here? It's Manzo and Smith. And, those were 2 guys that were really blowing up this year. So they love their craft. He's got special skill. It's solid bat speed. It's solid balance, but he's got a huge heart, and he's a big-time competitor. And you can expect some special things from him moving forward. It's not too much to put on him. He'll do it because he'll just keep hitting. He's hitting right now a lot. And that was a crazy start, though, Theo. That was a legitimate All-American type start. He was spraying the ball over the field.
Mm-hmm. Then I wanted to ask about two more individual players, Zane Mills and AJ Block, who were both top 4 in the Pac-12 in strikeouts when the season stopped. And I know you guys wanted to kind of attack hitters and really limit walks this season. Can you talk about both of those guys and where they really improved and where they were when the season stopped?
Well, AJ, what a great story. He was Coach Claggett. I met with his family over the summer, and we promised the family, look, we're going to get you prepared for professional baseball better. You didn't have a win last year. We promise you'll have a better experience. And boy, we put that out there. And then the next thing you better come good on that. So I was pumped. He had 2 wins, 3 games with 10 strikeouts or more. He did a great job with his mental game. AJ is a big-time competitor. I mean, he takes the game and everything that he does very serious. And if it doesn't go his way, he gets really irritated. He had one of those in one of his outings, and then he came and apologized to the coaches and the team about it. Just really, really, really matured, and he's ready for pro ball, so we're pumped about that. But it was, 3 pitches for strikes, the curveball and the change, and both sides with the fastball and command, and up to 94. And then Zane Mills Zane going into the season, Theo, you heard that question all the time. What's the rotation? What's the rotation? We didn't like our depth going into the year. Zane was going to be that swing guy of close. And then if he didn't close, start on Sunday. And if he did, then close him Friday, Saturday. But I mean, what an unbelievable job he did with his body, his strength and our strength program. Kudos to them as well. But, Zane was rubber arming, feeling good, pounding the strike zone left and right. I mean, we had 2 legitimate Pac-12 starters, and then White, he had been, on the shelf just because he was a little sore. We were taking care of him, but we threw him in there against Gonzaga for an inning. He's ready to start against Cal. And we're able to do that because you had Bryce Moyle and you had Owen Leonard and you had Barnum, and we had a semblance of a bullpen. So it was getting pretty exciting.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, AJ is going to have an opportunity to go play professional baseball. And then the MLB draft is going to be severely kind of cut by the coronavirus, and I believe that they're going to have at least 5 rounds, but potentially 10 rounds. Do you think AJ has a chance to kind of land somewhere in that draft? And what do you think is next for him in his baseball career?
Well, I do, and we certainly hope so. And I hope that all of us at the college level would love to see the draft be at 10 rounds, just for our kids, and the impact that's going to have of the strength of college baseball, particularly in the Pac next year, is crazy. With everybody coming back, And if the draft is only 5 rounds, the 6th, 7th rounders are going to go back to school, and the Pac has a lot of 6 to 12 rounders, in their junior year, and they also have them at the high school level coming in. So, but with regards to AJ, we really hope to see his name called. And if it doesn't get past 10 rounds and then it's all of a sudden a free agent sign, it's capped at 20,000. That'll be a decision for him. He obviously has the opportunity to come back. I want to see him get out in pro ball and go. Now I'll beg him to stay. Who's kidding who? But I want to see AJ get out. He's ready for pro ball. His pitchability is there. He's got command of the fastball. He can control the running game. His mental game is sharp. His physicality is there. He's got all the pieces to go out and have a legitimate career in pro ball and find his way to the big leagues as a left-hander. I mean, he's got a big breaking ball that can give left-handers fits. He was working on the cutter, and that was improving, and he can go change against right with both sides. So, he's got a chance to have a real career in professional baseball.
Do you have any thoughts on how Major League Baseball should restart whenever it does, and what that could look like as far as pitchers kind of adjusting? I'm sure it'll probably take some time for hitters to kind of get their timing right. But do you have any kind of thoughts on what that well or should look like when it happens in probably a few months, hopefully?
Yeah, hopefully in a few months we'll get going. That was exciting to see that the Colonial, just in terms of the PGA, is going to have an event. Don't know what that'll look like, but that's in June. So I think we all went, hey, there's a maybe, but. More importantly, just being good citizens and making sure everybody is safe and healthy and all that. But I know in having an opportunity to speak with Major League Baseball, I'm on a committee nationally, and I know that they're committed to making sure that they protect the players and do a great job for them. So whenever they finally do make the call, I know that they're going to do a great job with preparation of, even though people are working and playing, we're still going to have plenty of opportunity to train. So whether it's really shortened or half shortened, the players will have, and what I hope for to see, but we'll see it, is that the players have enough time to train and prepare. And then when it gets going, it'll be just like the fall. It'll be early, it'll be like spring training. The pitchers will be ahead. But, because the live pitching part is the thing that we don't see. But there'll be enough training, and I know they're committed to it, and I hope we all get to see it this year.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to wedge in a few more fan questions here. This comes from James Walden. It's actually a pretty funny one. Who are you taking to drive in a double between football coach Nick Rolovich and basketball coach Cal Smith? Who's got the best shot at hitting a double for you guys?
I think you got to go Rolo. When you saw him throw the first pitch, he went Rick Vaughn. So there's he's going to swing hard. So Rolo hits a double. I would think Coach Smith is a guy who's probably going to take the HPP, put the bunt down. He's going to shoot the ball the other way. I think Rolo's swinging big. It's got to be Rolo for the double.
Have you spoken to either of those two coaches about their paths to Washington State? Obviously, all three of you guys kind of come from mid-major backgrounds, were successful at mid-majors, and are considered kind of young and up and coming coaches who kind of took similar paths to get to the Pac-12.
Well, I've talked to Coach Smith about it, just because he's been here longer. With Coach Rolo, and this guy's taken our community over by storm, and we're all learning from just some of the great things that he's doing about community. It's just obviously a great hire. But just tell you about Coach Rolo, he has allowed myself and Coach Smith to be a part of his meetings, just to sit as a fly on the wall and listen to some of his guest speakers. So just a guy who really gets it, and he understands that it's entirely about our university, which all of us think that way. The better WSU, the better that we all do. So we're all rooting for each other. But I know we're all itching to get together and get to each other's house and just talk shop as head coaches. But we certainly communicate, whether it be via text or even on the phone. So he's been awesome. And Coach Smith, from day one, he was at the press conference. I mean, he's an absolute winner and a team guy. And, my wife knows Coach Smith's wife, and hey, it's a great culture. If you're a head coach here, it's an awesome culture.
I'm sure Cal Smith would probably have some analytic advice for you guys. And I know baseball is a real analytic sport, so you guys could probably share some things in common there.
No doubt. Yeah, no, we have talked about that. And just in terms of, although our metrics and analytics are different, we both see our games the same way. I'm very analytics driven, not from a swing development perspective, but from an offensive approach and a trust perspective, going back to the players. But we look at a lot of numbers, and we use a lot of numbers in our decision making and then our approach making.
And I wanted to ask about the culture change that kind of has taken place in your program. I know that was obviously a big thing for you. Can you kind of talk about that and when you felt like the team was kind of really bought into what you guys wanted to install there at Washington State?
Yeah, it was a really challenging fall. We have great kids, we have great people. That was apparent from our first 12 days of culture training, and even the coaching staff and some external people that we brought in who have worked with myself and our staff in the past at other schools. We talked about the depth of substance that our kids had when we were going through our culture training. However, trust is trust, and trust has to be earned starting from the coaches to the players. That's just how it works. And there was a lot of fog, in our opinion, of our players to coaches of, I'm just not really sure about these guys. Are they really telling us the truth? It sounds great, but I don't know if I want to buy in. And that we really felt like that. I did really the entire fall. You saw it though with off days in the weight room, and you saw it with off days in the hitting barn. You saw it with early work and late work. The body count just started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So we were kind of getting excited. And then when we got to the spring or late fall, in our meetings, there was starting to be a laugh if a coach joked. You would see some serious interaction that we didn't have. I mean, we would ask questions in the fall and October, and we would know there wouldn't be a question, and I'd have to ask somebody. When we got to February, March, kids were jumping in and saying, "Here's what I have." So it just started to turn, Theo. I think we were very intentional with it as a staff. I believe in it. It's person first, player second. I mean, I just believe wholeheartedly that you attack the person first, with love, with trust, with optimism, and we're going to be in your corner. I'm going to hit with you. I'm going to hit with you every day. And then we're also going to get out in the community. We're going to be good citizens. And I think all of us started to see collectively what started to mesh that, this stuff it might work. It feels better. We're having more fun. There's more people in the stands, and it's 30 degrees out. The interactions with people when we're ringing the bell at Salvation Army or working with Special Olympics is fun. I think it all started to just kind of form in about February, right when the season started. Our dugout was awesome. You felt that. And then it started to form or kind of shift into the field. And that's when we got canceled. But we believe in it. And now we're just we're implementing it on this off time with our kids moving forward. It's almost like we're using this time for future culture training right now.
Can you talk a little bit more about your work with the Special Olympics? I believe that's something that you kind of started doing at New Mexico State, maybe before that actually, and how that kind of started and why that's pretty important to you to do.
It's really important to me. I had a cousin who passed, but he had a lot of circumstance in his life. He couldn't communicate effectively. He couldn't move. He was in a wheelchair. And personal story. I remember after being at UCLA, I went around the home plate. We went around the field after a series sweep of SC. It was a great weekend, and I pushed my cousin around in my UCLA uniform after the game in a wheelchair, and there was a smile. I've told this story many times. It's a big moment for me, but there was a smile that I'd never seen out of him, and his mom told me that, still tells us that. And from that experience, next thing you know, I'm an assistant coach at Kentucky, where our athletic department was committed to getting out into the community. We worked with the Bluegrass Miracle League. I saw the impact it had on our players and how it had on those kids. So going to New Mexico State, I was absolutely committed to do that. And then next thing you know, we're winning community service awards. Our kids are doing better in the classroom. And you see the correlation and the relationship between being good citizens, making your university better, and then guess what? Your attendance is better, and people are supporting you at a higher level. And it really was impactful for me on, you're making an impact in the community, that you're changing people's lives. And we have an opportunity and responsibility to do that. If I walk into a Special Olympics group and I'm wearing a flannel and a beanie and my name is Rick, people are going to say hello. If we walk in wearing a Coug uniform, it's a big deal. And I just think that that's something that we understand. It's a responsibility and an honor. So we took that. So we brought it here. We had a great time with Special Olympics. It was awesome. It'll be a part of our fiber moving forward. And again, I just think it makes you a better person. I think when you're pouting about your playing time, or maybe you don't have the opportunity to get the at-bats you want, maybe you think about that day in the gym in December and you realize how fortunate we all are. And that's really important to me, to keep our kids to the proper perspective of being good people.
You guys have another neat kind of campaign that you do within Washington State, and it's the Meet the Professor campaign. Can you kind of talk about that a little bit, and how that started and what that kind of looks like?
Well, here's an example. Yeah, the Meet the Professor campaign, that's from our first meeting, but and we go over that even in the recruiting process, so our kids know that, you know, this is something that you're going to have to do. But when you show up, and we started this at New Mexico State as well, but 5 years ago, I had this crazy idea. I'm sorry, I saw it somewhere on Twitter. I don't remember who it was or what triggered the thought, but we had a thing called Meet the Professor campaign. And our kids are required when they show up that on the first 2 days of school, they have to go up, introduce themselves to the professor, say that they're a Coug athlete or a Coug baseball player, take a picture with the professor and ask if it's okay to post it. And then we just create all these photos going out. And then we have, you know, there's awards for who had the best one and who had the worst one in terms of our players, who looked the goofiest, who looked the best. But it's a way to bridge academics and athletics and understand that we're in this thing together. And the response nationally has been awesome. You know, I mean, people are all over the country are doing it now. And it's really cool. And then the next thing you know, you get the Give Them the Chair campaign. And the next thing you know, I'm talking to the Murrow College. And again, we're all Cougs, and we're all in this thing together, and we need each other, and we rely on each other. And it's just another one of our ways to understand that we're all Cougs, and it's a family. And we do that at the beginning of every semester. And it's a really cool thing. I enjoy it. And I know the professors enjoy it. They get goofy with it too in some of the pictures. So we have a good time with it. And then we just, for 3 days, we take over social media with pictures.
Then how did the Give Them the Chair campaign start? Can you talk about that for people who may not be too familiar with it?
So it started off as a class project. I had nothing to do with it. I had heard that it might be coming, and we were presented with, this is going to happen. Are you good with it? I said, am I good with it? Can we have 10 more of these? We show up, and these guys out of nowhere, there's a group of 10 just rowdy fans near our dugout, start yelling this out of the blue when we get to 2 strikes, give them the chair. And then all of a sudden, here's 10 crazy Coug students yelling, chair, chair. And fortunately, AJ Block is on the mound and Zay Mills is on the mound, and we're punching out a bunch of guys. And this thing takes off. And over the course of 5 home games, it builds and builds. More students are coming in the 3rd inning and joining the chair crew. Our administration gets a hold of it. Our marketing team gets a hold of it. Now we've got mini chairs that are handed out. Now they've got a sign, and now they've got their own following on social media. It blows up. I'm now out there after the game taking pictures with them, and we're still tweeting at each other. So that's how you build a movement, you know, and I think it starts with the players and the coaches being so appreciative of it. That's how it started. And now, you know, those guys, hey guys, you're on the hook. You're part of the family. So it was awesome. And it made it a big time environment. It made our kids feel good. You know, now you go 4-1 at home in 5 games, and there's pride, and we hope to blow that thing up, to be quite honest. And I'll do the best job that I can to make it happen. But a special shout out to the chair crew for getting that thing started. It was awesome, and you guys were awesome. So thanks for that.
Shout out to the chair crew.
Yeah.
We'll get you after a few more questions. You know, I've asked Coach Rolovich this. I asked Coach Smith this. I asked both of them their top 5 football and basketball movies. So if you had to pick your top 5 baseball movies, what would they be?
Oh, and that rotates all the time. It's got to go. I just don't know if I'm funny or inspirational right now, but I mean, well, we'll just go 5. We'll start with The Natural, and then we'll go to Bull Durham, and then obviously Major League, 8 Men Out. Those are the 4, and then For the Love of the Game is 5. And I didn't even mention Field of Dreams, and you know, so I've got to go 6 if we can slide that in there, Theo, because those. They're all so different. I mean, our kids haven't seen Bull Durham, so we try to get them to see that. Our coaching staff quotes Major League and Bull Durham all the time. For the Love of the Game with the mental game is awesome. Bull Durham for the mental game from a comedy standpoint is awesome. And then The Natural with just the historic perspective of it. I got to go 6 because I really love all those movies. 8 Men Out is just awesome because I love that time frame of baseball.
I think my favorite is actually Sandlot. So Sandlot could be
you mentioned Sandlot for crying out loud. I'm gonna get fined for that.
I think I've that 100 times. You could recite almost every line from that movie. So
yeah.
And then obviously you have a lot of time at home right now with your wife and kids. Is there anything on Netflix or Hulu that you've really been kind of watching lately?
Well, I just started Ozark, and I was behind on that, and boy, that thing's pretty intense. So I just started that. I've actually had the thought that I should have invested in Netflix ways back, because I'm binge watching everything. Of course, we watched Exotic Joe. Of course, we've had some pictures of our coaching staff, maybe with some mullets and their faces transposed on that. I won't share those, but we've had a good time with that. But just got done with Exotic Joe. I'm on to Ozark. I just finished off Money Heist. So I enjoy Netflix binge watching. I go to bed early, and I happen to wake up really early, and I kind of watch a couple of those before we hit our walk.
What were your thoughts on Tiger King? Pretty crazy, right?
Pretty crazy. It was one of those. I think it was almost like the Howard Stern thing on the radio. Just, why are you watching this? I can't believe it. It doesn't seem true, and I just want to see what's going to happen next.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks a lot, Brian. I think Rob Curley, our editor in chief, has a couple questions for you. So we'll let him get his baseball questions in. But
no, look, I can't even tell you how much this helped the soul today. Thank you so much. I needed that badly.
Good.
So, I want to show you something. Theo and I are massive baseball fans. It's our favorite sport. So we collect different things. I have a massive jersey collection. It's sick how big it is. And Theo has a large collection too. Theo, could you show us that?
Here we go. 1 second here. Take you over to the little Theo baseball museum here.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I got it.
Yep. So we've actually been to every MLB stadium as a family, and so I bought a bobblehead at each stadium. So that's my collection there.
That's awesome.
Pretty proud of it.
Yeah, it is. It's awesome. Here is my Kansas City Royals Danny Duffy jersey.
Danny
But
Duffy.
I figured you would like. I have an obscure jersey that most people don't have.
There we go.
So how is that?
Now we're talking. Absolutely. So
you can't be an editor in the Pacific Northwest and not have this as a jersey if you collect jerseys.
That's absolutely going on social media. I've got my number 17 jersey that I got at the press conference, and I just got delivered a photo frame. I've got frames and pictures all over the wall here in the office, but I haven't posted up the Coug one yet. I've got a Pete Rose jersey that was signed. I got to meet Pete back at UCLA, and he put a little special note on it. And I've got a couple of Astros jerseys too. I think the value on those has gone down, but yeah, no, that's pretty cool. I've got a lot of minutes. Theo, I'll work on a Brandon Crawford bobblehead, because he sent me one once he got his bobblehead, and obviously that's a pretty famous player that I've coached recently.
Yeah. Crawford's from Pleasanton, California. My family actually grew up in Dublin, and they live in Livermore now. So.
Oh my gosh, yeah, he's from Pleasanton. Absolutely,
big Giants fan. So.
Cool. Okay. Good to know.
Well, look, I want to thank you both. That was so fun today. And Coach, I hope that we can talk again like this sometime soon. It's, we don't normally get to talk with coaches this long, and it really is it's a blast. So I hope we can do this again sometime.
Well, Rob, thank you. But I'll tell you, it's the same for me. I mean, we miss it, and for me, I hunt down as many opportunities as I can to talk about the Cougs and to talk about baseball or the mental game or leadership or culture. I just, it keeps me sane and keeps me healthy and keeps me driving forward too. So anytime, I'm obviously appreciative of the opportunity, but please keep asking, because I'm ready to roll. It's fun.
Thank you so much, Theo. I still hate the Giants. So thank you both, and we'll talk again soon. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Go Cougs.
Thank you.